Hello, everybody. It's E3 officially, E3 Day 1. If you're listening to this, it's likely you listened to our Day 0 podcast where we went over all of our kind of our first impressions of the press conferences. And I'm Jack Gardner. With me are two lovely people. Who wants to go first? I'm gesturing at both of them.
Ladies first.
All right. I'm Naomi Lugo.
I'm Marcus Stewart.
And Zach, well, I still haven't asked
Wojnar.
Zach how to put that. Wojnar?
Zach Wojnar.
Okay, that sounds better than all the other ways I've tried to say his name. Sorry, Zach. Zach's going to be here tomorrow to share more of his thoughts. It just got to be too late. The show this year is actually 3 hours longer than it has been.
And what time is it right now?
It is currently midnight. We have been going all day, and we just got back from dinner. So
what a day.
Yeah, it's been a long day. So we've seen some stuff, guys.
We've seen things.
Unspeakable things.
We are not the same people that we were this morning. We've been changed profoundly.
But you guys both, I think, got to play one of the new Pokemon games.
Pokemon
and
Eevee.
You both got to play Kingdom Hearts. So let's hear a little bit about those.
Sure. I guess let's talk about Kingdom Hearts. That was the first thing we played.
Yeah.
They had 2 demos that you could play through either Toy Story or Mount Olympus for Hercules. Naomi, you played a little bit of... We actually each played, you played Hercules, I played Toy Story.
Yeah, so the Mount Olympus one was only the boss battle, or at least I'm assuming a boss battle with a Titan. So you got to see a little bit of wall climbing mechanics, which was interesting. And then battling this giant monster.
I don't know. The combat was okay. It was definitely very Kingdom Hearts. Kind of flashy, but not necessarily satisfying. And then there were some mechanics where you turned into Disney rides.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
Turn into the Pirates of the Caribbean ship.
Yeah.
And you do a mini game where you're doing the seesaw and you're timing it and hitting things.
Yeah, and then there was the train from, Thunder Mountain Railroad or whatever it's called. And then the teacups. The teacups was pretty cool, actually. It was like bumper card teacups against the Heartless. Yeah. So it was interesting going up against the Colossus because, obviously it's huge. So I had a lot of fun trying to figure out where to actually hit this thing. So, yeah.
Toy Story was cool. In Andy's room, I was immediately impressed, as I always am, with Disney's sound-alike cast, because Woody and Buzz sound spot on. That level's fun for just the novelty of little person in a big world, kind of thing that it has. I'm kind of I agree with Naomi. It plays very much like Kingdom Hearts. They gave a lot of summons at your disposal. I had 2 Keyblades I could swap through. The combos look cool. It looked flashy. Like you said, that series always has had a problem with kind of impact, where your moves feel like they have as much weight as beating someone with a fun like a
wiffle bat,
like a pool noodle or something like that.
Pool noodle, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. But overall, I had a lot of fun. My demo, we just go to Galaxy Toys. I did the first-person mech thing where we hopped inside of an action figure, and it was first person, and you're shooting and punching other mechs. Got a peek at one of the organization, or not even one of the organization members, but one of the ants, one of the Xehanort clones, or whatever the hell it is this time. There's multiple Xehanorts in this one.
So is there any information about the Kingdom Hearts 3 story, or is Kingdom Hearts truly the only... you can only understand what's going on if you've played the first 2 games.
And are a little bit insane.
It helps a lot if you've played those first 2 games.
Yeah.
They generally don't really recap.
No.
When they do a sequel, they're we expected what's happening here.
You've had 20 years.
And 6 platforms to play this
If you
on.
look at the trailers, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense, pretty much, if you don't know the story. You get a ton of characters that you're just supposed to know.
A lot of people in black robes.
And you're supposed to know why that's significant. It's okay.
You're didn't that one dude die already? Why is he back?
Probably. And then...
As someone that's played every game, even I And again, I'm a fan, but I'm not a person that dives into that lore. Like, usually when a new Kingdom Hearts comes out, I do a quick wiki kind of like reminder, because I only remember the broad strokes, because usually releases are pretty far in between, so I forget stuff. So I was like, okay, let me remind myself of the finer stuff of this plot before I dive into the new one. So I'm definitely going to do that with 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It
Yeah.
looked cool. I liked it.
Overall impressions?
I'm
good.
I'm excited for it. I like Kingdom Hearts. So.
Yeah, I'll probably play it, but
I feel
it
like
was a little underwhelming. But at the same time, you get the magic of
Disney.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we didn't see any Final Fantasy characters in it. At least not in the demo.
To be fair, Final Fantasy has always been on a much lower ratio than the Disney stuff in that series.
I want equal ratio.
Like there's never been a Final
Give
Fantasy.
me Cloud battling the Titan.
Like, the only representation they get is characters. They never get like a world or anything.
Yeah. They just
That would
kinda
be pretty
show
cool,
up.
Final Fantasy world.
I'm always surprised that they haven't. Like, it's literally just like the most is like, oh, Cloud's here. That's about it. Like, it's like a character from a game shows up, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so Pokemon.
That was so the thing I took away from that was that it's very much a happy medium of Pokemon Go and a console version of Red and Blue. The demo was in Viridian Forest, and you're just making your way through kind of like that labyrinth of a forest. Oh, hello, Drill.
The good old night drill.
Great.
The midnight driller.
I'm sure everyone in their bed appreciates that. But yeah, it's as someone that's not a major Pokemon fan, like I grew up playing those first like Red, Blue, and Yellow, and then kind of dropped off after that. I used to love the anime kind of during its peak. So I appreciated kind of going back, and it feels nostalgic. Like, oh yeah, I know what this is, and I like that the battles are more like the traditional games and not like Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the battles in Pokemon Go is just tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, like this is like the normal RPG style, like trainer battles.
Yeah.
Because they have, like I said, like it's pretty much Red and Blue, but like you catch Pokemon like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this a little bit. You level up by catching Pokemon, which is actually kind of a good way to tie in catching more Pokemon with, like, I mean, that's really the core of the game. Got to catch them all, and by catching Pokemon, you get experience that levels up all the Pokemon you've caught. Yeah. So I mean, that makes sense.
And it makes the game, because that game is clearly aimed at more the casual Pokemon fans, like maybe fans that jumped on board because of Go, because it's a really easy way to level up your party and not have to worry about like having to use one to level it up. It's like, no, everybody gets some.
I feel like in in the later games, they definitely give you experience share a lot later.
Do they?
Or a lot earlier, rather. Yeah, in Ultra Sun and Moon, you get it like pretty much at the beginning, so you can.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I mean, for people who want to go back and play Red and Blue, there's not a whole lot of options to do that unless you're.
It's on the 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's.
So is Yellow.
But I mean, like,
there's wrong.
How accessible is that for, like, if you're 9 right now, are you gonna want to play that, or is this gonna be way more your speed, especially after Pokemon Go has come out?
I guess the old games are always gonna have their own special charm. I think it's more. See, it didn't really feel like the old games to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it felt more like.
But like, is this for people who are like who have no connection to the old game?
I think so.
I think it's both for me, because I think as someone that's only played the old game and really hasn't played anything much past Yellow, like I've dabbled in Gold and I did play Platinum just as a random one, but like my association with that series is always those first 3 games. So for me, I was like, oh yeah, like Viridian Forest, I know what's going on here, and like yeah, okay, like those trainers that stop you, like as soon as you get in eye contact, they decide that you are now the most important thing in the world and force you to battle. Like that's all there.
They're level 3 Caterpie.
Like, hey
Nick.
Yeah, and you can walk with your Pokemon, and Eevee or Pikachu will sit on your shoulder.
Late night.
I was confused. I forgot to ask. So I asked the lady about gyms, if gyms were a thing in this world, and she said that she could neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, they were pretty strict.
But
we weren't allowed to take photos, and anytime I asked the questions, I kind of got the coy, like,
yeah,
we're not allowed to talk about anything besides the demo, but kind of yes.
But that's normal Nintendo.
Yeah,
They were always like that.
Pretty Nintendo.
Though she might have let it slip because she said, we'll planning to talk about that later, which basically means yes, because what is there to talk about if the answer is no? And then when I got to the end of the demo, did you get to the end of it? Like, did you get to the meant to do that, or if that was a slip? So
yeah, I asked my demo person if all 151 Pokemon would be there, and they said, I can't tell you, but I've seen them. I'm like, okay, does that a yes?
I seen it.
And, or actually they clarified, they said, I've seen 150, but maybe not 151, alluding that we might not see Mewtwo at least yet.
But we'll see Mew.
But well, I mean, Mew's gonna be a part. If you get the Pokeball controller, you get Mew in game.
Oh, like the controller comes with Mew?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how'd you feel about that controller? I was a little...
It's kind of small. I mean, it was fine for me. I have tiny hands, but I can
have
imagine.
big hands,
I mean,
or
not that you get like super aggro playing Pokemon, but you could totally squish that thing. And there's the the B button's on the top. So imagine like...
Yeah, like there's only 2 buttons. It's just the stick, because it's meant to be like, the idea is like, oh, you can play the whole game one-handed. So like, basically every major input is using a stick. So you move with the stick, and then if you want to select things, you click the stick, which made it kind of finicky because I would try to select something, but I would accidentally move. So there were times I would accidentally pick the wrong thing, like when I was changing Pokemon during battle. So I was like, oh, that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, my speed was the one that everyone was watching, and I'm like...
I was like, I swear I know what I'm doing. Like, I meant to pick Charmander against that bug type. I didn't want Squirtle. I know what types are. And, like, the throwing... Like, you have to hold it in a certain... Like, my rep saying, like, try to hold it, like, the red up, white down.
You wrapped a strap around your wrist, and then you put another strap on your ring finger, and then you held the ball in your hand.
Yeah.
And then, you throw the ball red side up towards the screen. And I tried doing curveballs like Pokemon Go.
I did too. I asked her if that was a thing, and she was like, I don't know, actually.
It flew off the screen. So unless you're like super skilled, I don't think it's gonna work yet.
Yeah, it took a lot of tries to get used to like the I guess the move, the flick of the wrist or whatever it is to really get used to.
I got it right away. But I wanted more of a challenge out of it, which I suppose I can understand why it wouldn't be super challenging, because people were super iffy about Pokemon Go catching system being in there at all. I
was skipping Pokemon after a while. I was like, okay, I don't want to battle them.
There was a ton.
Like, I was actively dodging them at some point.
There was a ton of encounters during that demo.
Yeah, like there was one little wall. It was like a wall of Pokemon basically, and I was like this minefield of Pokemon. I was trying to like tiptoe past. Like I don't.
So you can see them.
Yeah.
You can see the wild Pokemon.
Yeah, and you can see.
So there's no random encounters.
You can see if they're.
That's a big change.
Extra large or small.
Have they done that yet with even the like most recent ones? Is it still random encounters?
There's a mechanic in Ultra Sun and Moon where, and I don't know if this is in Sun and Moon, you'll see like a patch of grass moving around, and apparently that's an aggressive Pokemon.
Okay.
So kinda.
But not like blatant like this.
No.
Okay, so that's...
And I think we did talk about it, right? We talked about how a Pokemon will walk with you, like in Ruby and Sapphire. They finally brought that back again.
Okay, because I was confused. I was like, okay, I knew Eevee or Pikachu would, because that's like Pokemon Yellow, but now I was like, oh, I got a Squirtle following me.
Yeah, and you could turn around and talk to your Squirtle.
It's like, so who's my real buddy here?
Doing.
Was he wearing sunglasses?
No.
Oh.
Not yet. Not yet. You should have asked the rep about the sunglasses. They could be coy. Like, well, we can neither confirm or deny Squirtle's sunglasses.
But yes.
We'll share that at a later date.
Yeah, I mean, the title... I think it's going to be super accessible, not anything groundbreaking for the Pokemon series. I think that's what we're going to see in the next game.
Yeah.
I think this game is pretty much to tide us over and start the remake cycle. I can't imagine why they wouldn't just continue, because this game is going to make money.
Yeah.
I would, like that said, I want to play it.
Yeah,
like, I want to play it. It seems like a chill little RPG.
And like I was playing it seriously like one-handed, like...
Yeah, like just laying back in your couch, just
like watching TV but playing Pokemon, which I mean,
drink in one hand, Pokeball in the other, you know.
I mean, it's not super challenging. It's turn-based, so you're totally fine playing that way.
Yeah, I tried playing with the Joy-Con, but it wasn't functional because I wanted to see what that was like. So
yeah,
but yeah, good little thing. It seems like a neat little thing.
yeah.
All right. You seem a little down on it, Naomi.
No, I'm not down on it. It's just
Wasn't exciting.
it was okay.
Okay.
Of course, as a Pokemon nerd, I'm excited that it's happening, but it's.
To be fair, Viridian Forest has never been the most
Yeah.
exciting location.
Yeah, it's tough to tell because it's the beginning of the game. We didn't see too many mechanics with.
We're also pretty tired right now.
Yeah, with the demo, it was pretty basic. We got a few encounters and a couple battles, and we already had our Pokemon team. So.
Not exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, what I saw was basically what I was expecting of like the bare minimum of what this game was gonna be. So.
Yeah.
It's just confirming basically what I expected and not really seeing anything to build up the hype.
I also don't know. I asked her if the level's like, is this cut and paste like the same layout as Viridian Forest in the Game Boy game, or is it completely redesigned? And she wasn't sure. So I was curious, like, is this just literally cut and paste Red and Blue, just remade with nice graphics?
I think that would be fine. That's probably what they did. At least that's what I would guess.
Okay. So yeah, Pokemon Go.
So what'd you guys see after that? What I guess because we kind of want to move along. Maybe we can revisit like all the nitty-gritty details when we're more rested. But like, what were the highlights after that?
So, well, with the new schedule, we had press hours, and we actually got in a little bit earlier than that. I got to wander in to Bethesda before they were even open and play Blades a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So
Elder Scrolls Blades.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Blades, which is the mobile Elder Scrolls game that is coming out this fall, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It was pretty fun. I only played it for a few minutes because the Bethesda people yelled at me. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Wait, why'd they yell at you?
Because I wasn't supposed to be there.
Did they Fusro you out of the booth?
Because I was pretty much wearing like the uniform of everyone there, and they just assumed I worked there, and then they were like, "Why is she playing? Get out of here!"
Do we have a blue-haired employee?
But yeah, I played it in both landscape and meeting mode, air quotes, and it played pretty well. I'd be really excited to play it. So in the demo, you play a dungeon, so you can see some combat, and then in the forest looked gorgeous. It looked really good. Movement in that game I still think is a little rough. It was tough to get used to. You hold down on the screen, but I felt like I had to tap myself away from the corner sometimes, so that could be smoother. Like maybe they had a joystick or something in there.
Do you think that it's the kind of thing that will translate better over to like a PC or console?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I wondered if I kind of thought like maybe it'll be worse on console because it seems like it's designed specifically for mobile.
I mean, just the basic movement will be a lot better. I don't know about the other mechanics because combat, at least the way I played it, I don't know if I was playing it wrong or not because again I snuck in accidentally. Like you have a shield and then you can hit, so it was tough transitioning between those two on a mobile device. Eventually I got into the groove because you have to like hold down the screen until it turns gold or something and then you hit, so it was tough to get used to. So it'll be interesting to see if it kind of smooths out as the development goes along.
Okay. I also played We Happy Few. I played about an hour of the story campaign. It's compulsion games to do contrast. It's been shown a few times. It's the kind of Bioshock-y, survival-y for open world game that a lot of people were initially excited for, and then they released that multiplayer early access beta, and everyone was like, "What is this? This is not what we want from this game." And I was kind of one of them, even though I knew there was going to be a story thing, but it seems like they've doubled down on that because I played a very substantial story thing. It is pretty much Bioshock with open world survival. Just real quick, like it actually takes place right after. Remember that original demo that when that game debuted, where like the guy breaks out of the party? Mm-hmm. It starts like right after he escapes from that.
Oh, neat.
And exploring this dilapidated city where like I guess people that were like outcast live, and everyone's like in poverty, and you're just trying to there's quests There's like treasure maps you can find to dig for, which I didn't have to do actually. So yeah, like you're constantly finding like materials to make lock picks and new clothes to pick locks and like jacks to open car doors, and just you're always grabbing stuff. And which for me, I always get like there's always like just a base satisfaction in just picking crap and like finding new recipes for new things that you can make. The writing is pretty. I hate to keep saying BioShocky, but it is, but a little bit more humorous. Kind of like a British version of BioShock. It's got like a very strong, because it's set in Britain, and it's got like a British humor to it, like a dark humor, I guess.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Like the more I played, I wanted to keep finding stuff, like just finding the abandoned houses and how every house tells like a little story, and like I liked seeing what I would stumble across because the world is really big, at least in that map, and apparently there's like 5 big hub worlds, so it's a pretty massive game. Because that one area I was playing, I was like, holy crap, there's a lot to do here. But yeah, I think if you were worried if this game was not going to be the kind of like story-driven single-player adventure, I think that you don't have anything to worry about. Whether or not it's a good one of those, we'll see, like how the narrative pays off. But it kind of checks the boxes of like, if you were looking for that kind of game of like you're finding notes, books, logs, stuff that fills out the world, radio stuff. There's a lot there. So, and that comes out this year, like in October, I believe. So,
do you think that the game is going to recover from that beta that they put out and the initial disappointment?
I think it will.
Okay.
Especially like the fact that I don't think it's playable to the public at E3. I think it's only in meeting rooms. So unfortunately, if you want to play this, you won't be able to. But yeah, I think it's what people were looking for initially from that game. That's what I was feeling. Like I was very happy playing it. So
you were one of the happy few.
I was not a downer. If you were a downer before, you got to take your joy.
Gotta take your upper. Yeah. I saw a few things today, but I think I'm gonna keep my move brief. My move brief.
Your move. I'm trying to think of what word that
is. Is it Yu-Gi-Oh? It's your move.
I'm gonna keep my bit brief.
Okay.
I saw Rune, which is a reboot of a game by the same name from the early 2000s, and kind of an action RPG type Viking game that's going to support multiplayer servers of 64 players apiece, and people can basically run around and be Vikings together, both killing other people or teaming up to like kill dragons and giants and stuff. It takes place during Ragnarok. And the whole crux of it is that Ragnarok can't finish because Loki has hidden himself away because he doesn't want to die. And the other gods are angry at him for prolonging Ragnarok, so they are sending their mortal champions after him. And it was pretty interesting. It's going to be coming to early access, I believe, later this summer, and then hopefully releasing sometime next year. It looks pretty interesting. I got to jump off the roof of a building and impale 2 people with a spear. And the developers were pretty interested in that because they'd never seen anyone do that before, and I felt pretty good about myself. But the real highlight for me was probably this game I saw called Spectrum, and that is being developed by one Mr. Dan Smith, who won, I believe, the Young BAFTA award last year. Anyway, he's been working on this game since he was 15, and it's come along.
How old is he now?
I believe he is 20.
Okay.
And he's just kind of iterated on this, and it's really solid. It's this kind of creepy, mysterious game about you wake up in a very nice hotel. There are very nice robots that run the hotel, and they wear little butler uniforms and stuff, and they talk to you very nicely. They make you food, and everything's really great. And the one kind of catch is they won't let you leave, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else in the hotel. And that is until someone contacts you and is basically trying to get you out of this hotel, and it becomes kind of this fusion of what I would describe as like Portal-like aesthetics with kind of an Art Deco 1950s kind of styling, and it's really cool looking. And you have to go through these challenges and these puzzles that all rely on the light spectrum, and so you can kind of transport different colors of light around to different places, and you can use them to kind of create platforms or bypass different obstacles. It's very interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it has that really nice slow ramp up into more and more difficult puzzles, and kind of teaches you as you go along.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my most interesting thing I saw today.
Did you see anything else, Naomi?
Yeah, I was at Focus Home Interactive today and saw a few games that they're developing. I saw Greedfall 2, which is interesting. It looks at, I guess, this local indigenous population that is heavily influenced by natural magic. And then I also saw Call of Cthulhu, which is also very interesting looking. Just the aesthetic around that game with its like eerie green glow is pretty rad. And then I saw A Plague Tale: Innocence, which is about an infestation of rats in medieval France. They had a morality, I guess it wasn't really a morality system, but there were moral choices that you can make in the game. Like, for instance, so in the game you're like an older sister, you play as the older sister, and you have two younger brothers, and you're trying to keep them safe from these rats. And in order to do that, you have to use fire, because rats will stay away from the light. And during one point of the demo, we are trying to walk through like a tunnel, and at the end there is like a soldier who's stuck, and in order to move forward you have to kind of push the rats into the soldier. Which is interesting because like it's either you and your brothers or the soldier, and so they seem to be playing with that kind of morality, just like what you'll do to survive, which is an interesting way to combat that, and like a pretty realistic one, you know, especially if you have young children with you, you're going to do pretty much everything you can to keep them safe. But it might not necessarily make you the best person ever. So yeah, I saw those. Oh, and I played a little bit of Vampire, which was interesting. Vampire.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
But flawed. Anyway. Is that about it?
Yeah.
I got two quick ones.
Okay.
Real quick, I played Spider-Man. Game's fun.
Life dream fulfilled.
Yep. It's real good to swing around in that world. It feels super fun. Basically, if you played Spider-Man 2 PS2, it's that, but just refined. The only real, like...
That's good.
What I really
High
like...
praise.
Yeah, it's, what I like about that is that you can really get the most out of a single web line. Like, you can just swing on that thing and hold it, and you can just kind of, like, manipulate his trajectory. Like, it feels a lot more realistic, I guess. As realistic as you can get with a Spider-Man swinging through your city. And just the option, it's just easier to kind of like zip around and also zip to an exact point that you're trying to perch to. I did a couple of, it was like a 15-minute demo where they just threw you into the open world and they're like, yeah, do what you want. You know, there's a boss fight in there. I didn't get that, but apparently I was watching other people and there was a fight against Shocker. I did a couple of the, like, just fighting gangs, like kind of horde mode style, like waves of like gangsters coming at you. Where I got to mess around with the combat and use a bunch of the cool web gadgets.
Did you get to do like the flippy ball where you shoot the webs everywhere?
That's like your special move.
Yeah?
So apparently, like, his suit is almost it's got some tech in it. If you're familiar with, if you've like watched Spider-Man: Homecoming, that's a decent comparison in terms of like the suit can heal itself like by pushing down, and so that's like your health. And trigger that crazy spinny web thingy that webs everybody. I got to use the cool like web mine where you like hits a guy and then it just zips a web and just sticks him to a wall. I did that a lot. That just never stopped being cool looking. And I was kind of blown away. There's a lot of environmental interactions. Like every 2 seconds you see like, hey, you can web this barrel and swing it around, or like, hey, you can web that thing and pull it down on somebody that's running by or something like that.
So it's the kind of game where you're going to be like walking down the street after you're done playing it. You're like, I could web that. I could web that.
Pretty much like you go into a warehouse, you're like, okay, like planning your approach. Like you can do stealth stuff like stealth takedown. But you're like, you know what, I'm going to maybe fight this guy, lead this guy down here. I'm going to pull the rack on him. And then maybe do, like, web up this guy, be like, leave a web mine here, so if he steps on it, it'll shoot a thing. So, like, you have a lot of options to mess with. Almost a little overwhelming, so, like, jumping in and learning everything. I'm like, okay, I got my normal combos and dodging, and then all the web stuff, and then I can interact with the environment. But, I started getting used to it by the end. But, yeah, that thing feels like a finished game.
Man.
So,
awesome. And when is that coming out?
September 7th.
Awesome.
So, not
So
long.
soon.
And the last thing I played of the day was Jump Force.
Jump Force.
Anime.
Jump Force. Anime. Shonen Jump.
Manga. Anime.
All the Gokus and the Narutos and the monkey, Luffy, fighting. It was a 3-on-3, so it's a 3-on-3 style game. It's if you're familiar with like the old DBZ games before Fighters, like that style, or like the Naruto, like Ultimate Ninja games, like the way that perspective is, it's pretty much that.
Did they give any insight into what like the story is? Why are they all shoved together?
Who cares?
I care.
You just
I
you
care.
like anime?
I care.
Do you like anime?
Here's all of
Why
it.
is
Here's
Death
all
Note?
of the anime.
Why is Death Note watching over
Why not?
this thing? Because I want to know. I
Well,
want to know what the fictional reason
isn't that
is
what-
that all these fictional characters are coming together to fictional fight.
Why? That's the same answer. Why Goku wouldn't just win immediately?
Yeah.
Because
Or
maybe
why Light-
Death Note is like making it fair.
Or maybe like, why doesn't Light just win immediately? Like he could get all of them to say their names, and he just goes, okay,
I don't want to
let me.
see Naruto have a heart attack. That's the only request.
I mean, there's
I
other
made.
ways he could make him kill him, depending
Yeah,
on
but-
how sadistic
But
Light
the
feels
most
that moment.
iconic one is the heart attack.
That's just lazy. Like I don't feel like thinking of something really
Yeah.
terrible for that
Well,
person.
yeah, it's the default. They'll just die. of a
And
heart
considering
attack.
how annoying Naruto can be, I don't think I think he would get more than a heart attack. He'd be like, you.
Naruto is Hokage.
He's like, I want you to continue multiplying yourself until like it kills you somehow, like you,
You've subdivided and
or like you
split
multiply
your
yourself
atoms.
and then all your copies murder each other, so that there's none left. But yeah, it's.
spent some time thinking about this.
I played Jump Force, and yeah, it's 3v3. I did the 3 heroes against the 3 respective villains. Sasuke is in the game. I think he's the only character in there that wasn't shown in some form in that initial trailer, but you get Sasuke's in it. It's flashy and barely comprehensible what's happening on screen.
Sounds about
But
right.
it is a fun game to look at. The character models and the like particle effects look fantastic. It's a good looking fighter. It's just a lot to just jump into in terms of like I was just struggling to figure out like how to switch and how to like do crazy like DBZ teleports where people are zipping behind you and you're trying to do combos. You're like, what is happening? And I won. I'm not totally sure how. I was just hitting buttons and stuff was happening.
Nice.
Yeah, I was hitting buttons and then, like, I don't know, crazy special things were happening. It's fun. It's goofy fun if you're into anime, Shonen Jump. You'll probably like this. I'm curious to see what that full roster looks like, if there's other modes outside of just, like, versus, if there is a story of some sort.
I'm sure there is some sort of nonsensical story.
So...
All right. Well, we'll come
good time.
back with you tomorrow, and we'll let you know about our other thoughts on things, because it's late, and we want to go to bed. So thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You the best. And Zach will be back tomorrow. So, peace out. Bye.